All right, so I've been super excited as I've been planning this class. I've been in my studio for a couple of hours just finding the right setup, the right quotes, everything that you will need to have an amazing hour here. So start by clearing the flesh out from underneath you and just feeling the ground supporting you. We're going to take a nice big deep breath, and as we do, our shoulders come up by our ears, back and down, giant circles. Just feeling into your body this morning, or whatever time it is that you're doing this practice. Big circles. And then let your shoulders fall down away from your ears. Open your palms upward on your lap. A gesture of being open and receptive. And then just close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. As we prepare for this practice, I'd like you to know that this is a yin and yang practice, actually yang and yin. We're going to ramp it up in the first half and do some active yoga, get our bodies nice and warm, a little challenging. And then the second half of class will be all restorative, and that's where we'll use all those props that you've gathered. Yoga poses that are completely supported by props. I'd like to offer one word for this practice, and that word is trust. And we'll start right here by just trusting the force of gravity that holds us to this seat. Trusting that an exhale will be followed by an inhale. Trusting that everything that we've been busy with will be waiting for us in the perfect time, and trusting that by dedicating this time for ourselves, we'll be more effective, more rejuvenated and energized for everything else we have to do today. Trust. Bring your hands together and rub them vigorously. Let's create a little bit of heat in our palms. And then with your hands in this Anjali Mudra prayer position, let the outsides of your thumbs touch your forehead. And put a little bit of pressure there on this sixth chakra, or the third eye. This is the center of intuition. So trust your own knowing. Trust that through this practice, you will make choices for yourself that are exactly what your body, your mind, your soul needs in any moment. Trust your inner guide. And then as we open our hands wide, let's just reach the hands upward in this gesture, saying, I trust that everything in the universe is conspiring right now to support me. Everything. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. And hands come back to heart center. And so it is. Let's come around to a tabletop position, removing any props. And we'll start to move through cat and cow. Inhaling to lift and lengthen the chest. Exhaling to round the spine. And you're welcome to continue this slow cat and cow, but since we're going to take it up a notch, I offer a little brisk cat and cow. This is a practice from Kundalini. On the exhale, force the breath out. So just building heat through the core. Of Of course, not doing anything that feels straining or stressful or harsh, but just brisk, active. Exhale loud and long. Back to neutral, tuck the toes, and let's lift into downward facing dog. And take a moment here to pedal the heels, pressing down with one and lifting the other. And again, moving with a little bit of briskness. It's a little more action than usual. We usually kind of ease into these practices. Today, I'm going to ask you to jump in. Just going to jump in with both feet. And then lift way up onto your tiptoes, bend your knees a lot, shift your hips high, and press your heels down. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale up onto the tiptoes, giant bend in the knees, hips high, heels down, toes, knees, hips, heels. And then look forward as you slowly walk your feet up to meet your hands. With knees bent here, grab your elbows and hang down in a rag doll. Maybe there's a little bit of sway from side to side. Oh, it might feel good to just sigh and let yourself stretch here. Let's press hands to shins. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Good job, everybody. While you're down here close to the floor, reach for a block or a firm pillow. And you're going to place that just above your knees. And then go ahead and adjust your feet so you feel like you're equally standing on your right and your left foot. Put a nice bend in the knees and inhale, arms sweep all the way up. Extend into mountain. And then exhale back into chair. Move with your breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And let's start to find Ujjayi breath. That's that whisper breath, that H sound. And while you're flowing through these chair poses, I'd like to just offer you a few more words about trust. Surrender to the force that allows tiny acorns to become giant oak trees. The force that turns a tiny seed into a blooming flower. The force that turns a microscopic dot into a human being. Trust. One more time, we'll reach and then exhale, sink into chair. Pause here, arms extended or close to your body. You can choose which feels best to you. We're going to come up onto our toes and take a look at balancing chair. It just got warm in this space, didn't it? Squeeze the block a little harder, lengthen through your spine. Ujjayi breath. If your heels are lifted, drop them to the floor, sweep the arms up high. Cactus into a little back bend. Bring your hands in front of your heart and fold forward. On the way, you can remove that block. Let's inhale to a half lift and step back into downward facing dog. I'm going to do a little flowing plank here. So on the inhale, come forward onto your tippy toes and back into downward facing dog. If your knees, if your wrists don't feel good here, drop your knees and just shift forward and back. Kneeling plank into child's. You're moving with your breath. Come forward one more time and let's all lower the knees, spinning the elbows forward. Exhale halfway down, chaturanga, and then press right back up. It's not even a birthday today that I know of, but we'll do a few yogi push-ups. Halfway down, feeling the stability and strength in your shoulders. Good, and the next time you come halfway down, let your hips lower, your belly, your chest, and then roll your shoulders onto your back, lift into cobra. Deep breaths here, friends. And releasing, let's meet in downward facing dog. Once again, you can lift and lower on your toes. Maybe that little movement we did earlier feels good. Maybe just holding still. And then looking forward, either step or hop your feet to your hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms reach high. Let's add in that cactus arms back bend. And then hands to heart. Pause. Feel the heat your body is building. Let's do that again. Rise high, big deep breath. Swan dive, forward fold. Inhale to a half lift. And exhale, downward facing dog. Shifting forward, plank pose, knees or toes, lower halfway. Rise to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pausing here, trusting the process. Trusting yoga to do what yoga does. Instead of you doing yoga, let yoga do you. Let yoga give you its gifts. Looking forward, step or hop to the top of your mat and lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Take a huge breath in, arms reach high. Cactus the arms into a back bend. And close the hands in front of your heart. Take a little bit wider stance, just slightly wider than hips distance apart. We're going to interlace our fingers, so make those steeple fingers or Charlie's Angel hands, and we're going to lift the arms all the way up. So pressing as high as you can, begin to move your body side to side. Feeling that beautiful opposite of length in one side and strength in the other. Yin and yang. Go as far as you can without straining, without pain. Feel an edge. And then let's take that over to one side and we'll hold that edge. So using one hand to pull the other arm up high, press down through the outside of your right foot. You're stretching to the left. Direct your breath into your right rib cage. Feel this holding and reaching happening at the same time. Come back to center, lift as tall as you can and reach over to the the right side, stretching the left side of your body. Press down on your left foot. Pull up. Breathe deep, friends. This is you getting taller. This is you taking up space. This is you expanding. Come up high, feet closer together, and now come into a back bend. And let this back bend happen more through the shoulders and upper back first. So you might lift your chin, arms drop back to meet the ears. Chest is lifted. There's length in your low back and a lot of strength in your upper back. Go back to the point where you feel an edge, but not strain. And let's release, cactus the arms. Breathe here. Feel a little relief through your shoulders, through your neck. On the exhale, hands come to heart, sink back into chair. And let's move with breath. Inhale, open. Exhale, sink. Trusting the process. Hear your breath. Feel the heat your body is generating. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale, chair, and then fold down. Reach toward your toes. Let's separate our feet about hips distance apart, and we'll use our first two fingers around our big toes. Inhale to lengthen through the crown of your head. And exhale to bend your elbows and pull yourself down towards your feet. Breathe here. Space in the back of your body. We just moved our spine in a lot of different directions, and this is another one, flexion. Breathe here, feel here, trust here. Let's release our hands, keep the right foot where it is, and step the left foot back, come down into low lunge. You're welcome to drop the knee or keep the knee lifted. Let's just keep some active stretch happening in those hip flexors. With the left hand down on the floor or a block, let's circle the right arm up and around. Just find some space and mobility in that right shoulder. Avoiding any points of pain. And one more time, reach toward the ceiling, open your chest and breathe here. Expanding into a twist. On the exhale, bend the elbow and pull the elbow behind you a little bit more. See if you can feel a little bit more opening through that right shoulder. Not forcing in the low back, but opening more through the upper body. And then that arm wraps behind you. Maybe even more across the shoulder. Circle the arm around. Come back to low lunge and let's drop the knee down, pressing up onto the right thigh, arms cactus again. Take a nice lunge back bend here. Deep breaths, trusting the yoga. And coming down to the floor. 10 fingertips on the mat, lift your back knee and shift into a 3-point balance. Take a deep breath here, lift the leg as high as you can, start to lower the head down, come into a standing split. We're just gonna do a little movement here called Shiva squats. So on the exhale, you're gonna bend that top leg. It comes to touch the back of the right ankle as you roll onto your toes, and then lift again. Your right knee gets to decide how low you go. Maybe it's not very far, maybe it's all the way down. Trust your body. It gives you wise signals, and it's a good idea to listen to them. One more time, lift and lengthen. Exhale, lower that leg. Big exhale, shake things out. We'll repeat that on the other side. So left foot stays put, right foot steps back, low lunge, or kneeling lunge, your choice. Just always giving that hip flexor a moment to settle, open, to release. And then the right hand stays on the floor or a block. Left arm begins its journey. Nice big circles. We're just looking for easy gliding movement in the shoulder. So if you're feeling stickiness or pain, maybe make the circle a little smaller. We don't want to fight against ourselves. And reaching the hand up toward the ceiling, expand through the chest, reach, breathe. Bending the elbow, let that elbow come back, a little more space in front of the body. And the arm wraps behind. A final twist to look over your left shoulder. Nice, everybody. Sweep that arm around. Let's find our 3-point. Oh, sorry. I was ahead of myself. Drop the back knee. Press up on the left leg. Chest lifts. Cactus arms. Bring your attention right here to this very moment. What do you feel in your fingers? Your shoulders and your hips? What do you notice about your breath? Let's release the fingertips to the floor, tuck the back toes, and find a 3-point balance. Once you feel your stability there, the leg comes a little higher, the head drops lower. And we'll begin to work through Shiva squat. So this can be very small, or you can come way up on those left toes and come down to a deep squat. This is the fire part of our practice, the yang, the heat, the power, the strength. Shiva is the Hindu god of destruction, of burning away the impurities, anything that is not us. One more time, lift and lengthen. Deep breath in and lower. Exhale to forward fold. Good job, everybody. Lift halfway and step back into downward facing dog. Let's take a vinyasa. Forward and down, up and back. With nice, deep breaths. Raise your right leg, bend the knee, open up the hip. Just feel a little spine rotation here, a little hip opening. And then squaring the hips, step the foot forward, dropping the back heel, rise up, warrior one. It is Warrior Wednesday. We have to do a few warriors, yeah? Open out, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Move with breath. Reverse your warrior. Come to warrior two. Sweep to warrior one. And exhale, warrior three. You can reach or tuck your arms closer to your body. Breathe. We practiced these for a whole month. The whole month of March, we worked on warrior three. Let's lower the hands to the floor, lower the left foot. Rise high. Forward fold. Half lift, downward facing dog. Let's take the vinyasa, folks, forward and down. Up and back. Left leg extends, bend the knee, open the hip. On the inhale, the leg kicks high. Exhale, step through. Dropping the back heel, rise up, one breath, warrior one. Open out, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Sweep through, warrior one, and here we go. Find your footing, left foot, reach into warrior three. Root down through that left foot, the left hip, stable. Really hug all the muscles in. Lengthen. Breath. Warrior three. On the next exhale, lower your hands, lower the foot. Oh, let a breath go. Reach high, extended mountain. Cactus your arms, come into a big back bend here. Lift high and bow. Press to your shins halfway. Step back, downward facing dog. Let's take one final vinyasa. Slow and strong, knees or toes. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Take one more in and out breath here. And then let's lower our knees to the mat. Take a breath in child's pose. Knees a little bit wider, big toes touching. Let this be the threshold between yang, active yoga, and yin, restorative yoga. So we do a lot of gentle yoga in these morning classes, but we don't do a lot of restorative. True restorative is using props to completely support you. So I'd like you to rise up from your child's pose, and we're gonna set up our first restorative posture. And I have a bolster, so I'm gonna use this. If you don't have a bolster, a firm pillow that's kind of long is gonna help. If you've got a firm blanket that you can kind of roll, you want something that you can lay back over. I also like to use a little pillow at the top, so a blanket folded works great for that. If you have something to cover your eyes with, you're gonna appreciate that. I'm just gonna fold a little towel, but an eye pillow will work great. All right, so here's the setup. I'm gonna use also 2 blocks. So you're gonna take whatever support you have behind you, and it comes right into the wedge of your low back. So your hips are on the floor, not off, but on the floor. And then you're just gonna lean back over the prop. So you want the prop to fill in the space of your low back. I like to use 2 blocks or pillows here under my knees, so the soles of the feet together in butterfly, and then a little more support underneath the head. So a little pillow here is really nice. Your arms are just gonna be out to the sides. If that is a strain, you could also put props under your arms or your hands. And then if you'd like to cover your eyes, give yourself that option. I'm going to give you a moment to get set up into your Supta Baddha Konasana. And I'm going to read to you some words of Judith Lassiter, who's really considered the queen of restorative yoga. Really kind of the Western inventor of restorative yoga practices. So she says, learning to relax is at the heart of living well, but opening your life to include a regular restorative practice is a challenge. Sometimes your practice will not be satisfying, and you'll wonder what good it's doing. Your mind will protest that you're wasting your time when there is so much else to be done. It is at these moments when it is most important to continue. Consider your practice an experiment that you can carry out with the finest instruments at your command: your body, your breath, your mind. So you have found yourself in Supta Baddha Konasana. Your body doesn't have to work to stay here. What's it like to trust that you are supported? How does it feel to you to trust these props to hold you, support you, and to do the work of this beneficial practice called restorative yoga? Take a few moments here, eyes closed, aware of breath, curious and aware of any sensations in your body. If something feels like slight discomfort, stay with that and observe discomfort. If something is sharp or painful, find more support. To the quiet mind, all things are possible. To the quiet mind, all things are possible. As you lie here in this restorative, gentle back bend and hip opener, let your mind picture a flower just opening its petals, allowing your body to feel open and receptive to this moment of life. Calm and nurtured, supported, held. We'll be here in supported Supta Baddha Konasana for 5 more full breaths. Count your own breaths. When you have reached that 5th exhale, begin to slowly remove yourself from these props. And that's always a little bit awkward, so move as slowly and carefully as you can. You'll just roll yourself over to one side and we'll meet around in a tabletop position for our next restorative pose. So we'll come into restorative child's pose, and you already have a bolster here, something in front of you. You want to build up the height of the bolster as much as you can. So What I like to do is stack blocks on top of my bolsters or maybe another pillow and then cover that with a blanket. So we're going to be coming into a wide child's pose. And if your knees need extra padding, roll up a towel behind your legs or under your knees. And then we're just going to let these props hold our body weight. So you want to see if you can get support under your belly, under your ribs, under your chest, and a place for your head to rest. And you can turn your head to either side. Your arms can be in their most comfortable position. I kind of like embracing this bolster and just interlacing my fingers, just kind of cuddling in here with the prop supporting the front of the body. And as you settle in there, notice the difference of having the back of your body supported and now the front of your body supported. How does that feel different to you? Child's pose is a nurturing pose. It's a pose designed to release tension in the body and quiet the mind. It's designed as a pose of safety, security, protection. So just curl up and rest here, reconnecting with your feelings of support. Notice if there are any parts of your body that are clenching or holding, like maybe jaw or forehead. And see what you're able to release with an exhale. As you breathe deeply, can you feel your belly expanding and softening against this support? You are free here to be yourself and just breathe and be received, be carried, be held. Let's take 5 more deep breaths here in supported child's pose. Lingering in this hug a little longer. When you have reached that final breath, allow yourself a long and loud exhale. Begin again to shift. Maybe it's a little awkward coming out of this. But we'll go ahead and just move ourselves off of those props and just come right down onto your belly. Just let yourself unfold from child's pose. You can create a pillow with your hands and then just rock your hips from side to side. Just wiggle your hips rolling across your quadriceps and your hip flexors, and just let that be your little release here. And coming back to center, let's use our hands to very gently press ourselves up. And we're going to come into restorative fish pose, which is another heart opener. So you can use a bolster sideways on your mat. You can also use something smaller like a block. And what we want is for that prop to be right here, like right across where, if you were wearing a sports bra, like that, right across that place of your back, right behind your shoulder blades. And if you are concerned at all about your neck, have a pillow up there. So I'm going to lay right across the bolster with my shoulder blades. My arms are going to be above the bolster so they can be on the floor. And then that block is just there to support your head. You can play around with the height of that pillow. It's okay to have your head draping back a little, as long as that doesn't cause you any pain. In supported fish, the legs are straight, but feel free to bend the knees if you need a little protection for your low back. You can be a little more active in the breathing here, at least at first. Just really calling your lungs to full expansion. This is a pose that supports us in expressing ourselves and speaking words, in being more creative in the way we express ourselves in the world. This is a vulnerable posture with the front of the body exposed, and so tap into the support behind you. Tap into the weight of your body on these props and just trust that you are held here, even though you might feel a bit exposed or vulnerable. You are held here. Surrender to the force that turns tiny acorns into giant oak trees. Notice if there's any holding anywhere in your body, and see if it's possible to release face tension, eye tension, hand tension, brain tension. Let's take 5 more breaths here in supported fish. When you come to that 5th exhale, begin possibly the awkward shifting off of the props In this one, I like to bring my hands behind my head and literally pull my head forward so I'm not straining my neck, all the way chin to chest, and then you can roll up or over. And then we'll just shift the prop so that we can come into supported bridge. And this is probably the most familiar of our restorative poses. You can use a block. I'm going to use a bolster because I like the softness of a bolster. So you're going to come up into bridge slowly and then slide something under your hips. You can make that a little higher if you like. So maybe a bolster and a blanket. Just kind of test the waters there. And the idea is you want to be in a nice high bridge without a lot of effort. And your arms are just going to extend out to the sides. Your feet can stay on the earth, or if it doesn't cause you any strain to your low back, you might straighten your legs and create a little more space in your hips, your hip flexors. Let your breath on this one be a little more natural, less forced. Imagining all of the discs of your spine, since they're inverted here, being a little bit decompressed. Gravity in the opposite direction now. Unweighted, able to receive fluid, able to become soft and spongy again. Trust the process of slowing down and being still. The opportunity to be supported and held. The rare moment in a busy life when you don't have to do anything, you just simply be. Notice if that's challenging or inviting for you. You can choose to stay right where you are, or if you'd like one final restorative pose, you could choose legs up, waterfall. And when I do this, I kind of like to scoot backwards so it feels like I'm kind of hanging off the front edge of my props. That allows me to just kind of dangle the legs in the air better. And just receive this inversion, fountain of youth. Calm body, quiet mind. A gentle place for your soul to rest. And we'll take 5 more slow breaths, in either bridge or legs up. And when you have finished your 5 breaths, I'm simply going to ask you to push your props down so that they come underneath your knees. You can find, again, an eye pillow, maybe a blanket over your body for restorative Shavasana. And it takes a little effort to do this next option, but I really think it's worth it. If you do have a bolster and a block, to put that, see if you can see that, to put that bolster and block kind of on an angle is going to give your thighs a really nice support here. right? And your feet are just going to be on the ground. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to give myself a little pillow and cover my eyes. If I had another blanket, I would put it over my body, especially hips, so you feel really grounded and warm and supported here. Just coming into supported Shavasana. When you arrive in your supported Shavasana, take a moment to let your mind observe the props. Just let your body feel the places where it is being supported and held. Take a little tour of the different textures your body feels beneath it. Hardness, softness. Anywhere there's space that's not supported, just kind of feel that. And then just feeling the energy, soft, easy, calm energy. Let your mind stay here, following the course of a breath in and out of your body. Surrender to the force that allows tiny acorns to become giant oak trees. The force that turns a tiny seed into a blooming flower. The force that turned a microscopic dot into you. I invite you to take 5 more slow, deep breaths in Shavasana. When you reach that 5th beautiful, sweet exhale, touch your thumb to each one of your fingers and start to be aware of your hands. Wiggle your toes. Begin to stretch your body out long and yawn and sigh. Start to move away from any of props that you've been using. When you're ready, return to a seat. When you find your seat, let's close this practice, this yin and yang, by joining both the masculine and feminine sides of our body here in Anjali Mudra. Taking a moment to reflect back to this practice, the first half more active, the second half more passive. See if there were any lessons that this practice offered you, any insights, Anything you'd like to make sure and take with you as you leave. Maybe making any connections to how this practice can serve you as you move out into this day, a bringer of light to the world. Thank you so much for making time for yourself today. Let's bow together. Namaste.